Welcome to Isinamuva Tutoring. Kusase uPeter. Ngizothanda ukubonga kakhulu kwabasubscribile ku-channel so far. If ungaka-subscribe ngicela usubscribe, uthene no-notification bell so that uzoba notified whenever siposta i-video. Phela futhi nilike ama-videos, ni-commente. Leyo nto iyayisiza kakhulu i-channel. Ningakhohlwa futhi nokusharela bonke abantu abangadinga usizo. Today ngizonenisa ama-functions grade 11 and grade 12. Ngizosiqala nge-straight line. I-straight line ibizwa ngokuthiwa i-linear function. Lizisho igama lithi straight line kusho ukuthi line straight. Igraph ke noma yiphi ke ine standard form sakhona. I-straight line isiqala ngo y equals mx. Lapho sisuke singaka shift sisase kwi-origin njengoba ubona igraph lapha kuyigraph ye-straight line and idlula kwi-origin. Origin u0 is to 0 lapha kwi-Cartesian plane njengoba sazi. So sino y equal to mx on a gradient positive, siphinde sibe no y equal to mx ayikaka shift nayo ine gradient kodwa yona e-negative. Ungayibuka ngokuthi ke ukuze ukhumbule ukuthi yiphi ene gradient positive yiphi ene gradient negative. Angithi uyazi inamba mayikhuphuka, inamba ezi-positive sithi ziyakhuphuka, inamba e-negative sithi ziyehla. So igraph mangathi uthatha ngokuthi uhamba phezulu kwayo leya engaphezulu eno m greater than 0 uyabona ukuthi ngabe uyakhuphuka, therefore m is greater than 0. Mangathi uhamba kule engaphansi uyabona ukuthi uyehlela, meaning m is less than 0. Mhlambe singayibuka ngaleyo ndlela, but masilokhu siqhubeka uzoyi-understand leyo nto. Siphinde sibe ne-standard form futhi mayisiqala i-shifter igraph yethu sino y equals mx plus c. Now u-m kumele wazi ukuthi uyini kwigraph. U-m is the gradient yegraph and i-gradient ine formula layo elithi m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okusho ukuthi udinga ama-points awu-2 ukuze uthole u-m. Point lokuqala lizoba x1 y1, elesi2 lizoba x2 y2. And then u-c is the y-intercept noma the y-cut. Lapho khona igraph ethinta khona ama-y-axis. If uzonothisa lama graph amaseceleni athinta ama-y-axis ku-0. Lapho vela wathinta khona kuma-x-axis, but nje masikhuluma ngama-y wathinta ku-0. So kuyayenza isense ukuthi leya graph yami ethi y equal to mx. Kuyayenza isense ukuthi ithi mx because ifana nokuthi ithi mx plus 0. U-c wethu u-0 in that case. Kubalulekile ukuthi ukwazi ukuthi igraph idraw kanjani noma yiphi igraph kumele wazi ukuthi idraw kanjani, but before wazi ukuthi igraph idraw kanjani kuzomela ube ne-equation yayo. So basinikezile f of x equals x plus 1. Sesibonile ukuthi igraph of i-straight line y equal to mx plus c. U-m wethu 1, the coefficient of x positive 1. Usuyazi ukuthi igraph izobe i-increaser because u-m is positive. U-c wethu u-1 futhi nayo positive 1. So ukuze ukwazi ukudraw igraph udinga izinto ezibalekile. Izinto ezibaleke kakhulu kuma graph x-intercept, y-intercept. X-intercept into kumele uyazi ukuthi you let y equal to 0. To calculate x-intercept, you let y equal to 0. Okuphi y is f of x. Shuthi izogcina ithini 0 equals x plus 1 noma x plus 1 equal to 0. Usolve x, uthola u-x obani negative 1. Remember mo transposer loya 1 loya solve x uzothola negative 1. So as i-coordinate liqala ngo-x lize ngo-y. So sino x negative 1, sino y 0. Remember y already bese simazi. So i-coordinates le x cut or the x-intercept to negative 1 and 0. Sesifuna the y-intercept. I-y-intercept but mawuzonothisa siyayibona from i-equation u-1 loya o-positive. But asiyicalculate-ke nayo sibona ukuthi sithole ubani. Kumele sithole yena loya 1. Y-cut x equal to 0. Kusho ukuthi uzofaka u-0 lapho kuno x khona. F of 0 equals 0 plus 1 bese usolva u-y-ke lapho when x is 0 uzothola u-y o-1. F of 0 sho ukuthi y lapho khona u-x o-0. As i-coordinates remember uqala ngo-x, sino x o-0, sino y o-1. 0 and 1 i-coordinates lethu le y-intercept. Vele besinaye lapha u-1 kwi-y-intercept, u-c kwi-equation ye-graph. And then after lapho uzojoin ama-points lawana, uplot igraph by joining ama-points lawana. Kuzophuma igraph ekanjeyana. Remember sino 1 and 0, 0 and 1 sorry. Sibe no negative 1 and 0. Idraw kanjalo kwi-straight line. Ukufind i-equation ye-straight line, udinga ukuthi ube naso i-straight line bekudrawele. And then udinga 2 points on a straight line. Remember, i-equation ye-straight line ithini y equals mx plus c. I-equation ye-straight line leso. Okusho ukuthi ukuze sikwazi ukudrawa ukufinda i-equation ye-straight line kuzomele sibe no m, sibe nano c. U-m is the gradient uyakhumbula. Sidinga 2 points. Not just any 2 points, but 2 points on leyo graph leyo. and sinawo sino 0 and 1 no 2 and 0. So thinike m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Sithathe lawo ama points lawa. Kukuwe ukuthi point number 1 wakhe muphi, point number 2 wakhe muphi. So mina ngichuzile ke lapha ngachuza u0 and 1 as u.1 wami. So izothi y2 u0, y1 u1 over x2 u2, x1 u0. Solve lapha igradient uthola igradient ewu-negative 1 over 2. Ucheck ukuthi kuyayenza in essence ukuthi uthola igradient e-negative. Yes, kuyayenza isense igraph yethu yenze njani iya-decrease and inamba negative inamba e-decreaseayo njengoba bese ngishilo. So njengoba sesino y equals negative 1 over 2x plus c. But into enginotisayo ukuthini u-c ngiyamazi ngiyakwazi ukumbona from igraph because u-c is the y-intercept and igraph yethu ithinta u-y kuphi lapha ku-1. So kuzoba negative 1 over 2x plus 1 equation yegraph yethu leyo. Another scenario basinikeze futhi igraph bathi find i-equation. Igraph siyayibona ukuthi i-straight line. Okusho ukuthi sodinga ukuthini y equals mx plus c. Okusho ukuthi kuzomela solve m bese solve u-c. U-c uyakhumbula ukuthi is the y-intercept. Siyakwazi ukuyibona from igraph y-intercept. But kule graph abasinikeze yona njengamanje abasivezelanga the y-intercept if uzonotice. Okusho ukuthi kuzomela simsolve u-c asivele sithathe from igraph. U-m yena simthola kanjani? Sidinga ama-points awu-2 on igraph yethu and sinawo ama-points awu-2. I-x-intercept 1 and 0, u-2 and 1 lo abasinikeze yena. Uyazi if solve kanjani igradient y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 zogcina uthola igradient ewu1 bese nqena ukuyenza lapha. And then after ukuthola igradient ewu1 usunobani y equals 1x plus c noma ke y equals x plus c kuyafana. Udinga ipoint on the graph ukusolve u-c. Angithi uyabona ukuthi u-c uyi unknown variable kuphela njengamanje. So thatha i-point on the graph usilifake to solve u-c. Sithatha lona lela point esingakalisebenzisi. Lela basinikeze lona elapha phakathi u2 and 1. Angazi ukuthi why ngithi singakalisebenzisi but 2 and 1 siyamsubstitute. U-y wakhona u1, u-x wakhona ubani u2. Kusho lapho kuno y khona sifaka u1, lapho kuno x khona sifaka u2. C uyasolveka kanjalo uzobe unknown variable yena yedwa sithola u-c negative 1. Okusho ukuthi igraph ikhatha ama y-axis ku negative 1. Mawubhekisisa lapha kwi-diagram uyabona ukuthi iyayenza sense. So soba ne-equation ethi y equals x minus 1 u-c wethu minus 1. Kubalekile ukuthi wazi i-domain ne-range yegraph. I-domain isikhuluma ngama-values ka-x lapho khona igraph i-defined. Uzobona kodwa ukuthi ngiyi-check kanjani. I-range isikhuluma ngama-values ka-y lapho khona igraph i-defined. So i-domain ama-values ka-x lapho khona igraph i-defined, i-range ama-values ka-y lapho khona igraph i-defined. Udinga ukwazi ukuthi igraph yani so that uzokwazi ukuthi ngifuna i-domain yani. Angithi siyavumelana. Nasi ke straight line. All the time mawukuthi ufuna i-domain yegraph. Because i-domain ikhuluma ngama-x values uzothatha ngokuthi uhamba along the x-axis. And uma uhamba along the x-axis ulokhu ubuka phansi ubuka phezulu check ukuthi uyayibona yini igraph either uma ubuka phansi noma uma ubuka phezulu. Ngiyahamba ke uma u-interpret igraph noma yiphi make sure ukuthi uyayazi lento le. Uma u-interpret igraph uqala from the left to right, bottom, top. So soqala kwa left ke zama uku-interpret igraph yethu because isikhuluma nge-domain and domain is values of x lapho khona igraph i-defined. So masihamba along the x sibuka phansi noma phezulu siyayibona igraph iphansi angithi masiqala le from negative infinity. Remember i-arrow leya isho ukuthi igraph iyaqhubeka iyeke ukuqhubeka. So even from negative infinity mawubheka phansi uyasibona i-straight line sethu. Lokho uyasibona kuma negative values kodwa usibona singaphansi. Ngaphansi uze uyofika ku-0 sikhona futhi na ku-0. Mawusuyangala ka-0 hamba along the x angithi uyakhumbula. Uyasibona usibonela phezulu manje. Usibonela phezulu wonke ama-positive values silokhu siphezulu up to positive infinity. Okusho ukuthi akukho lapho engasibonanga khona i-straight line sami mangihamba along the x-axis. Therefore izothini all values of x. So i-domain yakhona izothi x is an element of all real numbers. Kusho ukuthi ngithatha wonke ama-values ka-x. X is an element of all real numbers. I-range niyakhumbula ngitheni line sihamba along the y angithi. And uma u-interpret i-graph uqala phansi uye phezulu. Uqala kwa left uye kwa right, uqala phansi uye phezulu. Because isikhuluma nge-range manje ukuthi sihamba along the y-axis. Uma uhamba along the y-axis ubheka kwa right noma ubheka kwa left, uyabona ukuthi ngizoqala from negative infinity ngiyibona kwa left i-graph yami. Kwa left ngiyayibona ngize ngiyofika ku-0 ngilokhu ngiyayibona kwa left. Ngaphezulu ka-0 sengiyibona kwa right. Ngiyibona kwa right. Angiyeki ukuyiyeka because i-arrow leya isho ukuthi iyaqhubeka. Ngibona up to positive infinity. Okusho ukuthi even along the y-axis, straight line uzosibona kuwonke ama-values kabani ka-y. Therefore, y is an element of all real numbers. Leyo i-domain, i-range ye-straight line. Bese kuba yenye i-graph ebizwa ngokuthi i-hyperbola. Nayo-ke i-hyperbola inama-standard form wakhona. Eyokuqala ithi y equals a over x. So ukuze ubone ukuthi into i-hyperbola uzobona njengokuthi ibe ne-fraction u-x ebe-denominator. I-hyperbola-ke leyo. Uma ithi y equals a over x isuke isase-kwi-origin ingaka-shift. I-graph i-shifta up noma down, to the right noma to the left. So uma isase kwi-origin esuke ingaka-shift to the left, right, up or down. I-hyperbola-ke if ayikaka-shift i-y equals a over x. Iba njengoba ngiyidrawile-ke leya diagram yami yokuqala ayikaka-shift isase kwi-origin. Even ne-diagram futhi yes2 ayikaka-shift isase kwi-origin. But uyabona lawa magraph anomehluko ku-diagram 1 and diagram 2. Umehluko ukuthini? Owu-2 awu-y equals a over x lama graph wami. But khona eno-a o-positive, khona eno-a o-negative. Le ephezulu ino-a o-negative. Thatha ngokuthi maybe udraw i-straight line esiconnecta lawa ma-graphs lawa. Sizoba ne-gradient enjani konje sizokwehla ngithi. If uzojoyina lawa ma-graph owu-2 nge-straight line, kusho ukuthi straight line esehlayo leso esine-gradient e-negative. Lana-ke sothi a ko-negative. So leya graph leya yokuqala ino-a o-negative. Leya engaphansi nayo i-y equals a over x. Siyavumelana. Ngoba ikaka-shift isase kwi-origin. But yona mangathiwa sithatha i-straight line sijoyina lawa ma-graph owu-2 sizothola i-straight line esikhuphukayo meaning esine-gradient e-positive. Lana-ke sothi a ko-positive. Ihamba kanjalo. Iyaqala-ke iyashifta-ke le graph yethu. Uma ishifta-ke sizoba no-a over x minus p. Kumele wazi ukuthi ishifte kanjani leyo. Siphinde sibe futhi no-y equals a over x plus q. Isishiftile futhi lapha isekho kwi-origin angithi. Kumele wazi ukuthi ishifte kanjani leyo. Futhi iyakwazi ukuba y equals a over x minus p plus q. Kumele wazi futhi ukuthi ishifte kanjani. Nayi into kumele uyazi kuyibambisise i-shift along the x-axis ile nto ehamba no-x. So mangacheck u-p no-q because sesibonile ukuthi kahle ama-shift u-p no-q manje la. Le ehamba no-x between u-p no-q u-p because bowu-2 bayi-denominator angazi noma uyanotice. U-p no-x. So ngaleyo reason-ke leyo-ke kusho ukuthi u-p is the shift along the x-axis. And then u-q yena is a shift along the y-axis. But into kumele uyazi-ke nge-shift along the x-axis njengoba ngisho ukuthi u-p uhamba no-x kumele umhambise no-x ngempela akakahlukani no-x. Uzobona ukuthi ngisho ukuthini. Na i-example basinikezile i-equation basinikeze i-equation ethi y equals 2 over x plus 3. Ufuna ukuthola-ke wena ukuthi ishifte kanjani. Usobonile ishifte along the x because loya 3 loyana ukanye no-x ngaphansi kwi-denominator angithi. And manje ishifte kanjani kubalekile ukuthi ukwazi lokho uzokwenza njani. Uyakhumbula ngithi ukuthi ngithe mina le yanto ihamba no-x u-p uhamba no-x meaning ngizothatha u-x plus 3 ngim-equate to 0 bese ngisolve u-x. X plus 3 equal to 0 uma usolve u-x uthola u-x owu-negative 3 meaning leya graph ishifte 3 units to the negative side u-3 units to the left. Leya engaphansi ethi y equals negative 3 over x minus 1 nayo futhi shifte along the x ngoba loya minus 1 ngimbona uhamba no-x bayi-denominator bowu-2. So ukuze ngithole ukuthi shifte kanjani-ke along the x kuzomele ngithi x minus 1 ngimthatha wonke ngim-equate to 0 bese ngisolve u-x ngizothola u-x owu-positive 1 meaning ishifte 1 unit to the positive side. Ihamba kanjalo. Asicheckeni ishifti-ke along the y-axis. Basinikeze graph laphana ewu-negative 1 over x minus 4. I-shift along the y-ke yona uyithatha njengoba injalo. Uyabona njengoba ithi nje minus 4 u-q lowo. Kusho ukuthi ishifte 4 units down ngoba u down uminus angithi. And then basinikeze enye futhi iexample bathe 2 over x plus 5 plus 2. Sesifuna ukuthola ukuthi leya graph ishifte kanjani ke. Uyabona ukuthi ishifte along the x yase shifta along the y. Ishifta along the x le hamba no x bo 2. Kusho ukuthi x plus 5 uyeke so ithola lapha ishifta along the x but uzothatha x plus 5 equate to 0 usolve x uzothola x equals negative 5 meaning igraph yethu shifte 5 units to the negative side okusho ukuthi 5 units to the left and then loya plus 2 loyana umthatha njengoba enjalo okusho ukuthi ishifte 2 units up. So leya graph sine graph shifted 5 units to the left and 2 units up ihamba kanjalo ke shift. So mawungayibhekisisa kahle uzonothisa lapha ukuthi kwi standard form sokuqala ibishifte 0 units along the x so kuyenza isense ukuthi ngibe no a over x plus 0 lapha njengoba ngibona ngimbhala plus 0 futhi okuyishift along the y axis futhi because ibisase kwi origin ingaka shift. Khona into okuthiwa ke ama asymptotes because if uzoyinothisa leya graph yami leya ye hyperbola engaka shift isase kwi origin ayiwathinta ama x axis and ayiwathinta ama y axis okusho ukuthi ama y axis ayi asymptote asimthinti ama x-axis ayi-asymptote asimthinti. So into enzakalayo ukuthini u-p is the shift along the x-axis, u-q is the shift along the y-axis, futhi u-p is the asymptote no-q is the asymptote. Uthola kanjani ukuthi asymptote equation yakhona ithini equation yakhona ithini njengoba desithola ukuthi shifte kanjani toward direction. Uyabona nje kuleya equation kuleya graph yethu leya elapha phansi basinikeze in laphana the very last one leya equation ethi 2 over x plus 5 plus 2 i-example leyade ngiyenzile mabe ngathi bona thola ukuthi write down the equation mabe ngathi bona write down the equations of the asymptotes uzothatha x plus 5 wonke equate to 0 usolve x equals negative 5 i-equation yokuqala leyo i-asymptote. AS2 izothini y equals to positive 2. Remember shift along the y sithatha njengoba njalo so y equals positive 2 but shift along the x is solve x plus 5 equal to 0 x equal to negative 5. So ama equations of the asymptotes waleya graph leyana ibizothi x equal to negative 5 bese ithi y equals positive 2 ihamba kanjalo. So mawuzobhekisisa kahle lapha kuleya equation leya yami yokuqala uyabona ukuthi ngino y equals a over x plus 0 kahle kahle njengoba ubona ngibhalile okusho ukuthi i-asymptote along the x equal to 0 and then okusho ukuthi asymptote izothi x equal to 0 iphinde ithi y equal to 0. Le ethi x equal to 0 i-vertical asymptote ama y axis laphana. Lethi y equals to 0 i-horizontal asymptote le eyama x axis. I hope niyangi-understand. Mina ngiyi-understand yezwa. Okay, drawing a graph, i-graph ye-hyperbola remember. Ukuze ukwazi ukudraw i-graph njengoba bese ngishilo kumele ube ne-equation yayo i-graph. Basinikezile i-equation ye-graph ethi y equals 2 over x plus 1 minus 1. Leya graph sesibonile ukuthi yini i-hyperbola but siyazi ukuthi i-graph inezinto ezibalekile and izinto ezibaleke kakhulu ezizaziyo konke ama-graph x-intercept y-intercept. Another thing esiqeda ukuyidiscover ke balekile kule graph ama-asymptotes. Uzobona ukuthi siwadraw kanjani ama-asymptotes but asiqaleni sifune the x-intercept uyazi ukuthi x cut y equal to 0 mafuna ama-x-intercept y equal to 0. Now uyani y kushuthi izothi 2 over x plus 1 minus 1 equals to 0 usolve x. So mangisolve x ke mina ngiyatranspose u-negative 1 loya engala kwi-equal sign and because ngidila ne-fraction laphana kuzomele naloya 1 ngimenze abe i-fraction and ukumenza abe i-fraction kuzomele ethi 1 over 1. Any number over 1 is leyo number so u1 over 1 is 1 vele bese ngiya cross multiply ke ngizama ukusolve x ngizothi x plus 1 times 1 kube u-x plus 1 ngithi 2 times 1 kube u2 solve x ke laphana uzothola x positive 1 senginayo ke x-intercept positive 1 as i-coordinate u1 u-x wakhona y wakhona nawe lapha sithe y equal to 0 sithola y u0 sekushoda in manje y-intercept y cut x equal to 0 hlezi mawufuna y-intercept x equal to 0 x-intercept y equal to 0 so sesifuna y-intercept manje y cut x equal to 0 uphu x nawe u-x sifaka u0 lapha kuno x khona izothi y equals 2 over 0 plus 1 minus 1 bese sipress calculator ke lapha izosinikeza ke answer njengoba uyibona sithola u1 as i-coordinate sino x wakhona u0 y wakhona u1. Now sesinayo yonke into ke siyidingayo ukudraw igraph, but uma udraw igraph of ihyperbola uqale ngokuplotha ama-asymptotes. So sinama equations of asymptotes awu2. Khona ethi x equals to -1. Remember sithatha u-x plus 1 wonke si-equate to 0 solve u-x. So khona i-equation of i-asymptote ezothi x equals -1 engithi y equals -1 futhi. Ama-equations wesilaw of asymptotes. Sengiwaplothile-ke laphana ezothi x equal to -1 izoba vertical, izodlula ku-x owu-1 vele straight line edlula ku-x owu-1. E-horizontal y equal to -1 nayo straight line edlula ku-y owu-1. Kuba ama-dotted lines njengoba ubona ngenzile. Okulandelayo uma uqeda all the time mawenza i-hyperbola uqale ngokuplotha ama-asymptotes before udraw i-graph. So uzokwenza ama-asymptotes and then uplotha ama-points. Ama-points engikhuluma ngawo maphi? X-intercept and y-intercept. X-intercept ubani? 1 and 0. Y-intercept ubani? 0 and 1. Bese uyayidrawa-ke igraph yakho. Uzogcina uthola igraph ekanjeyana. Ujoyina lawo ama-points lawana, uthola leya piece engaphezulu leya ihlanganise lawo ama-points. Le piece engaphansi uyakhumbula ngithi une-idea manje ukuthi i-hyperbola igraph engathi ama-graph awu2 abhekene kanje. So if leya piece leyana idlula ku1 and 0 no 0 and 1 kusho ukuthi le piece engizoba lapha. Mawuthi ucheck u-A wakho vele upositive uyabona ukuthi ama-graph izoma kanjani igraph yethu. Sinenye igraph ethi g of x equals 4 over x minus 2 plus 1. Remember sesibonile ukuthi i-hyperbola kusho ukuthi sodinga izinto ezibalekile zo3, x-intercept, y-intercept and asymptotes. But ama-asymptotes asiwasolve siwathola kwi-graph. Izothi x equals to 2 i-vertical asymptote leyo. Khona ezothi y equals to 1 ama-asymptote. X equals to 2, y equals to 1. But soqala-ke sifune x-intercept, y equals to 0. So izothini 4 over x minus 2 plus 1 equal to 0. Bese usolve u-x kuzotranspose u1 yoba negative umenze be-fraction kusho ukuthi uzoba negative 1 over 1 ngala kwe-equal sign bese uya-cross multiply. X minus 2 times -1 kuzomele uvula ama-brackets u-negative lo ongaphandle u-1 and then times bani x minus 2 equals 4 times 1 is 4. Ihamba kanjalo bese uremove ama-brackets solve u-x ngokujwayelekile uzothola u-x owu-2. So sesinaye ku-x u-y sinayo 0. So as i-coordinates sino -2 and 0. X-intercept yethu leyo. Y-intercept x equal to 0. Uphu x nawe yalaphana so faka u-0 lapho kuno-x khona. G of 0 equals 4 over 0 minus 2 plus 1. Bese pre-calculate laphana uzothola u-y lapho khona u-x u-0. U-y wakhona kuzoba -1. As i-coordinate u-x wakhona u-0, y wakhona u-1. Sesiyahamba ke siyo kwi-Cartesian plane siplotha ama-asymptote wethu kuqala. Sine-asymptote ethi x equals to 2. Kusho ukuthi uzothi ku-x owu2 udraw iline ezoyokhatha lo x owu2 izoba vertical. Ku-y owu1 uzodraw iline ezoyokhatha lo y owu1 izoba horizontal. And then uplotha ama-points akho owu2 lawa -2 and 0 no 0 and -1. And then uwajoyina ama-points wakho uzogcina uthola igraph ekanjeyana. Kuyayenza isense ukuthi ime kanjeya because u-A wethu positive. Uma udraw i-straight line laphana kuzobe kuyi-straight line esiwa-connecta kuzobe kuyi-straight line esino-M positive, therefore u-A u-positive. Angazi noma nisayikhumbula leyo nto leyo. Now basinikeza igraph bathi sithole i-equation. Kubalulekile futhi ukuthi sikwazi lokhu ukwenza. All the time-ke uqale ngama-asymptotes. Njengoba kade ngithe mina ma udrawa uqala ngama-asymptotes. Nanoma ufinda i-equation ye-hyperbola uqala ngama-asymptotes. And basinikezile ama-asymptotes. Khona e-crossa ku-x ileka x kusho ukuthi sino x equal to 1. Khona le crossa ku-y ileka y kusho ukuthi sino y equal to -1. Uzoba ne-standard form ke sakhona uqala ubhale standard form g of x if ku-g equals a over x minus p plus q. Ngicela ubhale kube u-minus p all the time. Ungasho ukuthi x plus p, x minus p all the time. Kuyenzeka beninikeze u-x plus p but wena bhala x minus p plus q. I hope niyangizwa lapho. So kahle kahle sino y equals noma g of x equals a over x minus. U-x minus ulinde number le okuyi-asymptote ka-x. So ulinde u-positive 1. Positive 1 mayeza lapha ku-x minus ngeke i-affecte le asayine u-minus. Kuzogcina kuba vele u-x minus 1. Sithembe niya-understanda leyo nto futhi. And then remember i-shift yona along the y value -1 so vele sithi -1 ku-q. Usushoda ngani manje ku-equation yethu? Ushoda ngo-a, and that's the unknown variable esinayo esishoda ngayo. Usuzodinga i-point on the graph. Kuyo le graph ufuna i-equation yayo. I-point-ke basinikezile lapha i-y-intercept 0 and -3. Usuzothatha u-0 and -3 umsubstitute kwi-graph le eshoda ngo-a. U-y wakhona ubani? We-point leliya eli-y-intercept u-3. U-x wakhona ubani? U-0. Seso-substitute laphana-ke bese i-unknown variable kuzoba u-a. Usengasolveka ku-a uzothini? -3 utranspose u-1 le a ngale yoba positive equals a over 0 minus 1. U-0 minus 1 is -1. A over -1 is -a. So it's -3 plus 1 equals -a. Bese usolve u-a laphana uzothola u-a owu-2. Ucheck ukuthi iyayenza yini sense ukuthi a wakho ebe u-2. Yes, kuyayenza sense because igraph yethu ime such that masingadraw i-straight line esiconnecta leya graph yethu soba ne-gradient e-positive. Okusho no-a wethu positive bese ibeke kanjalo. So i-equation yegraph izothini? G of x equals 2 over x minus 1 minus 1. Okay, i-hyperbola inento ebizwa ngokuthi ama-axes of symmetry. Ama-axes of symmetry i-line ekhatha igraph into 2 equal halves noma into 2 equal parts. So mangadraw mhlawumbe i-straight line njengoba ngisidrawile laphana sizokhatha laphana, uyabona ukuthi le piece engapha ngaphansi ne piece engapha ngaphezulu ayalingana. And again khona futhi esinye straight line esingahamba the way ngisihambisa futhi ipiece engapha ngaphezulu iyalingana ne piece engaphansi. Ungamayindi ukuthi leyana inkulu leya piece red engapha ngezansi le enye engaphansi. No, ayalingana lawo ma piece. Ukuthi indlela akudraweke ngayo awalingani but nje ayalingana. So ama-axes of symmetry kahle kahle iline ekhatha through lapho kuhlangana khona ama-asymptote wethu if we are notice. So izokhatha ibe kanjena iphinde ikhathe futhi okwesi-2. Ngamanye amazwi awu-2 ama-equations of the axes of symmetry. Okokuqala lokho. Okwesi-2 wona lama equations of the axes of symmetry ama-equations of ama-straight lines. Lama equations of ama-axes of symmetry yabona ukuthi ama-equations of ama-straight lines because lama axes of symmetry to ama-straight line, and the straight line ene-gradient e-positive kube i-straight line esine-gradient e-negative if we are notice. And ke i-gradient yakhona is always known iwu-1 enye iwu-1. Therefore ama-axes of symmetry we-hyperbola ne-equation ethi y equals x plus c enye ithi y equals -x plus c. Usuyabona ukuthi le eno-negative x plus c ile eyehlelayo. Remember interpreter from left to right. So eyehlelayo uyayibona, and then eno mx plus c positive m ile khuphukelayo. Ihamba kanjalo. To solve for u-c uyanotice ukuthi ama-equations wethu noma ama-axes of symmetry wethu ahlangana lapho okuhlangana khona ama-asymptote wethu, meaning ama-asymptote ayi-point on igraph yethu okuyigraph eyama-axes of symmetry. So ukuze usolve u-c kuma-axes of symmetry ku-right ukuthi uthathe u-p no-q, u-x we-asymptote no-y we-asymptote, ngoba vele ikhatha through ama-asymptote i-equation of axes of symmetry. I hope niyangu-understanda lapho. So ma usubstitute u-p no-q uyakwazi u-p uzongena ku-x, u-q engene ku-y because u-p no-q kahle kahle bayi-coordinates lapha okuhlangana khona ama-asymptote. Lapha engidrawe khona leya circle e-blue. Uthatha u-p no-q umfaka laphana, uthatha u-p no-q umfaka laphana, usolve u-c, masuno-c usune-equation ephelele. Y equal to x plus low c, y equal to x plus -x plus low c lo. Ulalele ukuthi bafuna yiphi equation of the axes of symmetry. Kuyenzeka bethi find the equation of the axes of symmetry with m less than 0. So uyazi ukuthi ufuna le ethi y equals -x plus c. Ngoba negative is less than 0 angithi m negative. Mabethe m greater than 0 ufuna le ethi y equals x plus c. Mabethe find nje ama-axes of symmetry uzovela uwafande u2 mabe ngabanga specific. Hamba kanjalo. I-domain ne-range kubalekile na ukuthi uyazi i-domain ne-range ye-hyperbola. Remember i-domain isihamba along the x-axis, sibheka phansi sibheka phezulu sifuna ukubona ukuthi siyayibona yini graph. I-range isihamba along the y-axis, sibheka phansi sibheka phezulu sifuna ukubona ukuthi siyayibona yini graph. And we interpret the graph from left to right, from bottom to top. So mahamba along the x-axis ufuna i-domain, sihamba along the x from -infinity. Uyabo leya arrow leya isho ukuthi leya graph iyaqhubeka to -infinity. So from negative infinity lokhu uyayibona igraph kodwa uyibonela phansi lokhu uyibona phansi uzufika ku0 uzudlule ku0 uyibona phansi until ufika ku-p. Into enginotisayo mangiku-p exactly ku-p ngibuka phezulu angiyiboni igraph. Mangibuka phansi futhi ngiku-p angiyiboni igraph because u-p is the asymptote asimthinti so igraph ayikho at all ku-p. Kodwa mangithi ngale ka-p sengiyaqala ngiyayibona igraph and ngiyibona phezulu igraph yami until ngize ngifike ku-x intercept lapho khona igraph yami ithinta khona u-x ama-x axis ngiyayibona futhi nalapha igraph. Mangiya ngale kwama-x axis sengiyibona phansi up to positive infinity ngilokhu ngiyayibona. Therefore igraph yami ngiyibona kuwo wonke ama-values ka-x but ikhona i-value ka-x lapho khona engingayiboni khona igraph and leyo value asymptote lapha ku-p. So i-domain ye-hyperbola izothi x is an element of all real numbers but x is not equal to p. So uzokwazi kwena ukuthi u-p imuphi the asymptote leya ekwi-denominator no-x but uthatha u-x nayo leya number u-equate to 0 solve u-x so uyeke lo x engikhuluma ngayo p. So izothi x is an element of all real numbers but x is not equal to leyo number leyo ozobe uyitholile. And then i-ranges hamba along the y-axis. Ma uhamba along the y-axis ubuka kwa-left ubuka kwa-right uyabona ukuthi uyayibona igraph kodwa awuyiboni ku-q. Phinde uyibone kuyo yonke indawo okusho ukuthi y is an element of all real numbers but y is not equals q. U-q uyakhumbula ukuthi le number engapha eceleni and siyithatha njengoba injalo ke yona. Simove on to i-parabola. I-parabola yiyo-ke igraph engathi complicated ngiyana ibuye ibizwe nge-quadratic graph. Parabola or quadratic graph inama-standard form. I-standard form sokuqala sithi y equals ax squared. So once wabona i-equation eno-x ono-squared noma u-x ono-exponent 2 usuyazi ukuthi i-equation ye-parabola leyo u-x olidayo inamba elidayo kuma-exponents makuwu-2 kusho ukuthi i-parabola leyo. Parabola-ke yona mayikwi-origin ithi y equals ax squared. Kuba igraph kanjeyana-ke i-parabola mayisasekwi-origin. Okay, lawa ma-graphs owu-2 arepresent i-parabola ekwi-origin. Owu-2 lawa ma-graph y equals ax squared but khona no-a o-positive khona no-a o-negative. Asiyibuke njengenakhonja-ke njengobuso leyanto leya. Uyabona ukuthi loyana une-smiley face. Leya graph ime njenge-smiley face okusho ukuthi yena ujabulile upositive ngempilo therefore a wakhe upositive greater than 0. Le engaphansi yona uyayibona ime njenge-sad face okusho ukuthi yena akajabulanga unegative ngempilo therefore a is negative less than 0. Iyaqala-ke igraph iyashifta ngoba igraph ayihlezi kwi-origin. Igraph noma iyiphi iyashifta ishifta to the left noma to the right up noma down. So mayishiftile-ke isizothi y equals a vuli bracket x minus p all squared noma ithini ax squared plus q. Okay, iphinde ithi y equals a x minus p all squared plus q. Iphinde ithi y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Wonke lawana ama-standard form we-equation ye-parabola. Into okumele uyazi ukuthi kune-shift laphana along the x and kune-shift along the y. Uyakhumbula kwi-hyperbola ngithe i-shift along the x ilo ohamba no-x. So if you check u-p no-q uyambona ukuthi u-p kahle uhamba no-x because ulokhu eno-x lapha phakathi kuma-brackets meaning u-p is the shift along the x. But awuyithathi njengoba injalo leya number uthatha u-x yonke leya nto kuma-brackets phakathi uyayithatha equate to 0 solve u-x bese uyathola. Ma uthola u-x o-positive kusho ukuthi shifte to the right. Ma uthola negative kusho ukuthi shifte to the left. And then u-q simthatha njengoba enjalo. But into esiyibonayo-ke ngeparabola khona ne-equation ethi y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. U-c remember ku-straight line u-c bekuyini y-intercept. Nakhona-ke la kweparabola u-c kusaseyiyo i-y-intercept. So iparabola iyakwazi-ke nayo ukukubonisa the y-cut. Okay, asibhekeni le graph le abasinikeze yona iparabola ekwi-origin engakashifti. I-y equals ax squared. Basitrowele ngiparabola. Leya parabola leyana siyayibona ukuthi ishiftile and very obvious ukuthi shifte to the right angithi basinikeza u2 lapha kusho ukuthi shifte 2 units to the right because ibikade isuka ku0 and then isiku2 manje meaning shifte 2 units to the positive side. Therefore i-equation izothi y equals a into x minus x minus ulinde ini ulinde lo ya 2 lo ya so ngoba upositive lo ya 2 ngeke ze affect sign izogcina vele ngakho ukuthi x minus 2 squared ungamkhohlwa ke lo ya. Na enye scenario sine parabola lapha kwi-origin ayikaka shift y equals ax squared manje sebesinikeze iparabola enye and kuyacaca ukuthi shifte downwards leya parabola leyana ibikade ku0 isiku-negative 4 njengamanje and ishifte along the y okusho ukuthi equation nayo ingathini y equals ax squared minus 4 remember ishift along the y siyithatha njengoba injalo. Nayi futhi enye scenario ube very careful ngalento esenza la basinikeza iparabola kwi-origin y equals ax squared baphinde basinikeza iparabola eshiftile but manje into engiyinotisayo ukuthi le parabola yami ishifte along the x axis yashifta to the right iyaphinde yashifta along the y axis yashifta downwards and manje bikade ithena ku0 and 0 angazi noma uyanothisa ku y equals ax squared bikade ithena ku0 and 0 now isithena kubani ku2 and -1 so uyayibona kusho ukuthi singayi-interpreta ngokuthi leya graph from i-origin ifike yathi 2 units to the right yase yathi 1 unit down ihamba kanjalo i-equation yakhona izothini y equals ax minus x minus ulinde ini ishift along the x okuyilo ya 2 loyana so u2 ngoba positive ngeke affect sign all squared shift along the y sithatha njengoba injalo -1 so i-equation izothi y equals ax minus 2 all squared minus 1 so into esiyinotisayo ke right now ukuthi by looking at i-turning point siyakwazi uku-identify ukuthi graph yethu ishifte how many units toward direction or singakwazi ukuthi sibuke ama-shift njengoba besisho ukuthi shift along the x and shift along the y u-p no-q singakwazi ukuthatha ama-shift bese siyazi ukuthi okay le kahle i-turning point so ama-coordinates we-turning point u-p and q shift along the x and shift along the y ungayikhohlwa-ke leyo nto so ama-standard form we-parabola khona show even the coordinates of the turning point le ethi y equals ax minus p all squared plus q u-p no-q lapho bama coordinates wani we-turning point but uyakhumbula u-x we-turning point wenze njani uthatha yonke le yanto kuma brackets equated to 0 usolve u-x u-y wakhona uthatha njengoba enjalo. Kubalekile ukuthi ukwazi futhi nawo ukudraw igraph ye-parabola ukuze ukwazi ukudraw igraph ye-parabola kumele ube ne-equation ye-parabola ukuze uzokwazi ukuthi okay parabola engiyidrawayo basinikeze u-y equals 2x squared into engiyi-understandayo ngo-x squared nje noma u2 noma ubani but mayithi x squared kuphela kusho ukuthi sase kwi-origin remember ibithi y equals ax squared now a siyazi ukuthi u2 and u-a upositive smiling face kusho ukuthi izobheka phezulu ngoba igraph ka-x squared ayikakashift sase kwi-origin kusho ukuthi izoba ku-0 and 0 but akukho enough ukuthi mina ngibe negraph ekanje bese mina ngithi graph ka-x squared because omunye ngafika ethi leya graph leyane ka-3x squared akekho wrong futhi naye omunye ngafika ethi leya graph leyane ka-1 over 2x squared right futhi naye omunye ngafika ethi ka-4x squared right because wonke lawo magraph lawo akwi-origin awakashift ane-smiling face afana nayo le so kune-argument ukuthi kahle le graph yiphi kahle so akukho right ukuthi uvele udrawe nje igraph bese uthi igraph ka-x squared kuzomele ushowe elinye point to verify ukuthi le graph lena is not just any graph ka-x squared but it's a graph of 2x squared uchuza noma yiphi ki-x value mawune-x value kuma-functions noma kwi-graph noma yiphi mawune-x value ukuze uthole y thatha leyo x value uyisubstitute ku-x kwi-original equation ye-graph uthole y so mina ngithanda ukuchoose u-x equal to 1 ke ma ngichoose u-x equal to 1 ngizothatha lo 1 ngiyomfaka ku-equation kuzoba u2 into 1 squared and then ngithole u2 so ngizogcina ngiba ne-coordinate elu-1 and 2 awukwazi ukuthi le graph ekanoma imuphi u-x squared le graph bekungeka 2x squared kuphela, because if bekungeka 4x squared i-coordinates belizothi 1 and 4. If bekungeka 1 over 2x squared belizothi 1 and 1 over 2 i-coordinates. So leli ngoba lithi 1 and 2 elika leya graph leya ihamba kanjalo, kungayikhohlwa leyo nto le, ibalekile uma udraw igraph engaka shift kwi-origin. Nayi ke enye equation basinikezile eye parabola bathi draw igraph sine graph ewubani h of x equals x squared minus x minus 2. Oh, le standard form lese singishowa ini the y-intercept. I-y-intercept ubani -2. As i-coordinate i-y-intercept yambani 0 and -2. But mina ngiyazi ke sekuzomela ngifone izinto ezibalekile. Remember ngithe kunoma yiphi graph into yokuqala nje balekile x-intercept y-intercept. But into esinotisile entsha kwi-parabola ukuthi kune turning point. Remember i-straight line bese ne x-intercept y-intercept. I-hyperbola yaba nani x-intercept y-intercept nento entsha, into entsha kube ama-asymptotes. Sesikwi-parabola manje x-intercept y-intercept, into entsha kwi-parabola yini i-turning point. So sizofuna x-intercept, sifune y-intercept, sifune turning point. Sesiyakwazi ukudraw igraph. X-intercept y equal to 0 all the time. So izothini x squared minus x minus 2 equals to 0. Le quadratic equation le isolve kanjani ngokufactorize. So uyafactorize ngendlela ofactorize ngayo, angazi ukuthi nifactorize kanjani, but if awukwazi ukufactorize vele uthi x minus kuno x minus olindile kuno x minus olindile bese uvele uyifake i-quadratic formula. Ma ufaka i-quadratic formula le answer uzoyithola kwi-quadratic formula. If uthola u-positive 2 uza naye njengoba enjalo uzomfaka la ku-x minus wokuqala noma wesi2 kuyafana. If uthola u-1 kwi-quadratic formula uzoza naye futhi uzomfaka lana uzo-affecta le sign. Remember kuno x minus wena uzwa no -1, negative time negative is positive, izogcina yenza u-x plus 1. Ngenza kanjalo ke uma ukuthi angikwazi ukufactorize. Mase unento kanjena useyakwazi ukusolve u-x, uzothi x equal to lento oyithole kwi-quadratic okusho ukuthi x equal to 2 or x equal to -1 lento oyithole kwi-quadratic usumsolvile ku-x kalula kanjalo if uyakwazi ukusebenzisa i-quadratic formula. As ama-coordinates, remember i-coordinates liqala ngo-x lize ngo-y. U-x wakhona u2, u-y wakhona u0, already nginayo u0. But mangathiwa bengingamthatha lo x owu2 ngimsubstitute ku-original equation. Niyakhumbula ngiqeda ukuthi mina mawuno-x uyakwazi ukuthatha lo x umfake ku-original equation ukuze uthole u-y we-point. So mangathatha lo x owu2 ngimfake laphana ngizothola u-y owu0, so asikho isidingo ngoba already bese ngimazi u-y, but ungayi-check-a lento engiyikhulumayo. Sino 2 and 0, sino -1 and 0, ama-coordinates wethu lawo wama-x-intercepts. So iparabola inama x-intercept awu2 into esiyinotisayo. Y-intercept x equal to 0, lapho kuno x khona sifaka u0, izothi h of 0 equals 0 squared minus 0 minus 2, sithola ubani u-2. Vele bezivele siyazi y-intercept leya esiyiseklishile lapha u-c is the y-intercept angithi. Bese ngimane ngiyisolva nje ukukutshengisa ukuthi iyasolveka kahle kahle. So as i-coordinates sinobani 0 and -2. Sesishoda ngani manje? X-intercept, y-intercept, into ebalekile nye turning point esiyitholile kwe-parabola. Ukuze utholeke i-turning point uzothi x equals minus b over 2a, iformula lelo lokuthola u-x we-turning point ye-parabola. X equals minus b over 2a. Remember i-parabola ikwi-form of ax squared plus bx plus c. So masibuki u-h of x wethu, u-a wethu u1, i-coefficient ka-x squared. U-b wethu -1, i-coefficient ka-x. U-c wethu -2, ax squared plus bx plus c. So i-equation yokuthola u-x we-turning point is minus b over 2a, u-b wethu -1, u-a wethu 2, so sothi negative into -1 over 2 into 1, isithola u-x we-turning point o-1 over 2 o-positive. Sengino-x we-point, i-point lakhona is the turning point. Ma uno-x we-point ukuze uthole u-y we-point uthatha u-x we-point substitute kwi-original equation all the time. So kuzomela ngithathe lo ya 1 over 2 ngiyomfaka kwi-original equation ngoba ngifuna u-y. So kuzoba u-h lapho kuno x khona ngifaka u-1 over 2, kuzoba u-h of 1 over 2 equals 1 over 2 squared minus 1 over 2 minus 2. Uyabona ngithathe u-x o 1 over 2 ngayomsubstitute kwi-original equation ukuze ngizothola u-y wakhe. U-y wakhona ke somthola ebe u-9 over 4. So sesine-coordinates le-turning point oku-1 over 2 and -9 over 4. Sesingakwazi ukuthi sidraw igraph yethu ke manje sinayo ini x-intercept, y-intercept and turning point. Uqale wenze njani? Draw i-Cartesian plane and then ku-Cartesian plane yakho wenze njani? kanjani? Uplotha wonke lawa ama-points lawana. Shuthi ngizoplotha i-point eliwubani? -1 and 0, 2 and 0 ama-x-intercepts. Y-intercept 0 and -2, and then ngino-1/2 and 9/2. U-1/2 is 0,5, and then u-9/4 uzomcheck ukuthi ubani ecalculate-eni, uplothe-ke lapho. Uma uqeda ukuplotha-ke usuzojoyina ama-points-ke ngendlela ukuthi uqala kwi-turning point. Uma ufika kwi-turning point uzoyibuza ukuthi ama-points angaphezulu yini kwayo noma ngaphansi. Mhlambe uma ungayibuka ngaleyo ndlela, ama-points angaphezulu, therefore i-turning point ami izobheka phezulu, bese udraw into ebheke phezulu, ujoin sekuyi-graph. Kuzoba into enje i-graph yakho, kumele kube into kanjalo. So ungawalabel-ke ama-points ngendlela owalabela ngayo. So no -1 and 0, 2 and 0, 0 and -2, and -1/2. So 1/2 ngenza i-mistake lapha, 1/2 and -9/4. Okay, uyayibona iyayenza isense ukuthi i-graph yethu ibe ne-smiling face because wethu positive, so izobheka phezulu njengoba uyibona. Enye i-graph basinikeza u-f of x equals x minus 1/2 all squared minus 25/4. Leya graph leyani parabola, and uyayibona ukuthi leya i-reveala ama-coordinates we-turning point. Yakhumbula ukuthi ngithe ama-coordinates we-turning point u-p no-q, kodwa u-p asimthathi njengoba enjalo ukuthi uzovela uthi u-1/2. No, uzothatha u-x minus 1/2 equated to 0 bese usolve u-x, uzothola u-x owu-positive 1/2. U-q umthatha njengoba unjalo, -25/4. So already la sesinayo i-turning point, isishoda ngani? X-intercept, y-intercept. X-intercept, y equal to 0. Now uya-y ku-f of x, so izothi x minus 1/2 all squared minus 25/4 equals 0. Ungalokhu-ke umosha isikhathi u-expanda leyanto leya, vele utranspose u-25/4 eyengala kwi-equal sign, uzoba positive mayefika khona, and then usuyasolva-ke, usolva for u-x. U-x somsolva kanjani-ke laphana? Angithi uyabona ukuthi u-x uphakathi kuma-brackets ano-squared, so ukuze ngisuse loya squared loyana so that u-x ezokwazi ukuba i-subject of the formula, uzofaka i-square root ngapha nangapha. Indlela yokusolva for u-x leyo, niyazazi indlela zokusolva u-x, so squaring both sides, bani into kanjalo. So mase ufaka i-square root kuzosala ubani? U-squared ne-square root bazokhanselana, kusala u-x minus 1/2 kwa left wethu, kwa right kuzosala ubani? Square root of leyanto leya, ubani lo? 5/2. But ma wenza i-square root se-number kuba u-plus or minus i-answer, so it's plus or minus 5/2, okusho ukuthi sino 5/2 o-positive, sino 5/2 o-negative. 5/2 o-positive ma transposer kushuthi izothi x minus 1/2 equals 5/2 o-positive, or x minus 1/2 equals -5/2. Transpose 1/2 o-negative eyoba positive ngala be-edane nobani? No 5/2, kubo 5/2 o-positive plus 1/2. Nangapha futhi utranspose 1/2 eyoba positive ngala kuba u-5/2 plus 1/2. Uzothola u-x owu-3, uthola u-x owu-2. Usunaye ku-x, u-y unaye, i-coordinate uyakwazi ukulibhala 3 and 0, -2 and 0. Ushoda ngani? Nge-y-intercept. Y-intercept, x equal to 0. Lapho kuno-0 okuno-x khona faka u-0. Izothi f of 0 equals, uvula i-bracket, 0 minus 1/2 all squared minus 25/4. Press i-calculator uthole u-y, uzothola u-y owu-6, okusho ukuthi i-coordinate ubani? Qala ngo-x, 0 and -6. Ayikho-ke into ongenayo njengamanje, singakwazi ukudraw i-parabola yethu. Plotha wonke lawo ama-points lawana, join ama-points, phuma i-parabola, uqedile. Hamba kanjalo, ku-check-ke ukuthi u-a wethu ebe positive u-1, angithi uyakubona lapha. So kuyayenza isense ukuthi i-graph yethu ibheke phezulu. Kubalulekile nokuthi ukwazi ukudetermine i-equation ye-parabola. I-equation ye-parabola akufani ne-equation ye-straight line ne-equation ye-hyperbola, lapho kuvele kwabalula khona. Kwi-parabola kuyadepend ukuthi bakunikeze ini. Kuyenzeka bekunikeze ama-x-intercept and a point. Kahle kwi-graph bakunikeza into ebalulekile and a point. Remember kwi-hyperbola bebesinikeza ama-asymptote and a point. Ama-asymptote siyawafaka kwi-standard form. I-point lisisiza ukwenza njani? Ukuthola u-a, the unknown angithi. Kwi-parabola-ke khona bazosinikeza into ebalulekile. Into ebalulekile ama-x-intercept ayacounta izinto ebalulekile kwi-parabola. Enye into ecounta izinto ebalulekile i-turning point, vele yiyo into ebesingayicabanga ebalulekile siqeda ukuyithola nge-parabola. So uma besinikeze ama-x-intercept, remember ama-x-intercept sazi ukuthi atholwa kanjani? Uyafactorize ube nobani? X minus kuma-brackets, angithi uyayikhumbula leyo nto le, although bithi equal to 0 ukuze uthole kushuthi loya 1 no 4 besikade sithe x minus sasolva. So now because basinikeze u1 no4 sekuzothi it's x minus x1 x minus x2 equals y. But before laphana ke kuno a, kahle lapha bengifuna ukubonisa ukuthi i-equation ivela kanjani. Once bakunikeza ama x intercepts kwi parabola bethi thola i-equation ye parabola, uzosebenzisa leya equation ethi y equals a into x minus x1 x minus x2. U-x1 kuzoba u1 or u4, x2 kuzoba u4 or u1. So kuzoba kuwe ukuthi ufaka u-x1 ku. But uyazi kuno x minus olindile lapha, ulinde ubani, ulinde u1, u1 ngoba positive ngeke affect sign izothi x minus 1. X minus omunye ulindile, ulinde u4, u4 ngoba positive ngeke affect sign kuzoba x minus 4. Uyabona ukuthi le equation leyana ishoda ngo a kuphela ukuthi iphelele, because masinga expanda lapha izophelela but inkinga kuzoba u-a. That's why isidinga elinye point ukuthi sithole i-equation. All the time uyalidinga i-point ukuze uthole i-equation. I-point iyo leya i-y-intercept, coordinate lakho nobani 0 and 4. U-y kuzongena u4, ku-x kuzongena u0, ku-x kuzongena u0. So izothi 4 equals a into 0 minus 1 0 minus 4. Solve for a lapha uzothola a o1. Ngicabanga ukuthi uyabona uzopress calculate uzothi 0 minus 1 thole i-answer negative 1, 0 minus 4 thole i-answer negative 4. Negative 1 times negative 4 is positive 4. Positive 4 times a is 4a. 4a equals to 4 divide ngo4 nangapha napho thola u-a01. So sengihappy ke ngo-a01 sengizomthatha ngimsubstitute lapho kushoda khona u-a lapha ku-a. Njengoba ubona ngenza i-circle e-blue. Ngiyamsubstitute u-a wami o1, u1 but akasho lutho. Anything times 1 is leyo nto leyo. Sengiremove ama brackets nge-foil method. X times x is x squared, x times bani ugcina uthola le equation leyana ye parabola ethi y equals x squared minus 5x plus 4. And into ozoyinothisa ke ngale equation ukuthi ithi plus 4 oku-c u-plus 4, and uyabona vele even from the graph i-y-intercept yethu 4, so iyayenza isense. And u-a wethu u-positive 1 and igraph ibheke phezulu, u-a kumele vele ebe positive because positive kusho ukuthi uyasmile. Enye indlela yokuthola i-equation of iparabola bazokudrawela igraph and then bekunikeza into ebalulekile and a point, but now into ebalulekile is the turning point abakunikeze yona. Ungasho ukuthi abakunikezanga i-point, uyayibona leya graph ethi idlula kwi-origin, and the origin point lakhona is always known u0 and 0, okusho ukuthi isihappy nge-point, isihappy nange-turning point. I-equation esinikeza i-turning point kuma standard form ile ethi y equals a into x minus p all squared plus q, okusho ukuthi sosebenzisa yona ukuthola i-equation ye-parabola ngoba sinayo u-p no-q. U-p wethu u2, u-q wethu u-positive 8. Uzobhala y equals a x minus p all squared plus q. Ususaqala ngo-substitute ubani i-turning point yethu. Kuno x minus olindile lapha kuma brackets, ulinde ubani u2. 2 ngoba u-positive ngeke affect sign kuzoba x minus 2 all squared. U8 simthatha njengoba enjalo kusho ukuthi izothi plus 8. Yini esishoda ngayo laphana ukuthi sibe ne-equation ephelele u-a. That's why isidinga and a point, because i-point ile lizosolvisa u-a. Ubonile even nakwi-hyperbola. Thatha i-point y walo u0, x walo u0, because i-point lethi origin angezi. Wenze substitution laphana bese usolve u-a. Uzogcina uthola u-a ke owubani owu-negative 2. And kuyayenza isense ukuthi u-a wethu ebe negative because igraph yethu ibheke phansi, sad face, kusho ukuthi akajabulanga, u-negative ngempilo. So masuno-a kuyamthatha uyomsubstitute lapho kuno-a khona bese uya-expanda if kumele u-expande, but i-right nanoma ithe y equals negative 2 into x minus 2 all squared plus 8. That's if bathe bhala i-equation in the form y equals a into x minus p all squared plus q. But mabethe bhala i-equation in the form y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, bekuzomele si-expande lawo ma-brackets, kusho ukuthi kuzoba negative 2 into x minus 2 x minus 2 plus 8, and then wenze i-foil wenze nango-2, and then kube into kanjalo. Okay, i-domain ye-parabola, remember i-domain sihamba along the x-axis, sibheka phansi sibheka phezulu, sifuna ukubona ukuthi siyayibona yini igraph, siqala kwa-left siya kwa-right. So mawuhamba along the x-axis kwi-parabola ulokhu ubheka phansi ubheka phezulu from negative infinity, leya graph leya ama-arrow asho ukuthi iyaqhubeka and ilokhu iyavuleka ilokhu iyavuleka ilokhu iyavuleka. So from negative infinity uyayibona kodwa uyibonela phezulu 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 uzufika kwi-x-intercept leyo kuqala bese uyaqala mawuyidlula uyibonela phansi uyibonela phansi uzufika kwi-x-intercept yes2, so uyibonela phezulu uyibonela phezulu uyibonela phezulu up to positive infinity, okusho ukuthi i-parabola siyibona kuyo yonke indawo masihamba along the x-axis, okusho ukuthi i-domain yakhona izothini, x is an element of all real numbers. Ihamba kanjalo ke i-domain parabola. Bese sibheka i-range. Remember i-turning point yethu u-P no Q, and mangihamba along the Y angiyiboni igraph yami from, remember uyiqala phansi igraph ma uyi-interpreta uye phezulu, so awuyiboni ma ubheka kwa left ubheka kwa right from le phansi, awuyibona uzuyibone lapha from i-turning point. And ngoba i-range ikhuluma ngo-Y, sizodinga u-Y we-turning point u-Q, kusho ukuthi ukuze sikwazi ukukhuluma nge-range ye-parabola kuzomele sibe no-Q, u-Y we-turning point, because siqala ukuyibona ku-Q ukuya phezulu, and ukuya phezulu asiye ukuyibona, so yibona up to positive infinity. So masibheka ku-Q, remember sitheni i-range sikhuluma ngo-Y, angithi siyavumelana, and sizoyibona from bani, from u-Q. Umbuzo ukuthini igraph ingaphansi yini noma ingaphezulu ka-Q? I-answer ithini? Ingaphezulu ka-Q. Ungaphezulu u-greater, into ephezulu into e-greater, angithi siyavumelana. So kuzoba u-greater or equals to Q. Into enza ukuthi ngithi or equal to 2 is because ikhona na Q, akusikho ukuthi ayikho ku-Q, ikhona na Q, so izothi Y is greater or equals to Q. Ihamba kanjalo ke i-range ye-parabola. But uyabona ukuthi mangathiwa i-parabola yethu ibheke phansi, ngeke kube Y is greater than Q in that case, because uzothini uqala uyibona from phansi, mayibheke phansi ungayidraw lapho phansi kuwe uyenze ibe yi-set face, ungitshela ukuthi ma interpreter from down to up uzothola ukuthini, uyayibona uzufike Q ku-turning point, bese above i-turning point awusayibona, kusho ukuthi uyibona below, and below less, so ibizwa ukuthi Y is less or equal to Q, i-range in that case. Bese kuba i-exponential graph. Angeke ngikhulume kakhulu nge-exponential graph, ngizokhuluma ngayo mase sengikuma-inverse. I-standard form sayo sithi Y equals a exponent x. I-exponential ngoba u-x uyi-exponent. Sase kwi-origin-ke kuba ilawa ama-graphs o-2, but kunomehluko phakathi kwalawa ama-graphs o-2, and umehluko is not u-a but u-x. If ino-x so positive izoma, angazi ukuthi ungayibamba kanjani, mhlambe masingayibamba ngokuthi okay ma ungaspreada ama-arms wakho ebe horizontal, umzimba wakho uzoba njenge-Cartesian plane, angazi noma uyakubona lokho, intamo ama-positive y-axis and then umzimba ama-negative y-axis, and then i-right arm yakho ama-x-axis are positive, i-left arm yakho ama-axis are negative. So if u-x, because i-arm yakho angithi ama-x siyavumelana lapho, if u-x e-positive kwi-graph ye-exponential graph uzophakamisa i-arm yakho yakwa-right, remember u-x o-positive i-arm yakwa-right, so ma uyiphakamisa uyikheva kanje i-arm yakho uyiphakamisa uzothola i-graph le yokuqala, ngazi noma iyayenza yini sense leyo nto, if umisa i-arm yakho ungazi ukuthi uyayiphakamisa iyakheva kancane kuzophuma le graph yokuqala, meaning ngoba siphakamise u-right kusho ukuthi ileka x o-positive. Angazi ukuthi ngaya-explain kanjani lento, kodwa I hope niyangi-understand. Eno-x o-negative, u-negative angithi u-left, so phakamisa i-arm yakwa-left, i-graph yakho izokheva njenge-graph yes-2 ma uyibhekisisa kahle. U-a akahlangene no-negative x no-positive x, u-a uzombona ukuthi uyini, but nje for now lawa ama-graph o-2 awobani, y equals a exponent x, y equals a exponent x, and then lenenye siphakamisa i-arm yakwa-right, u-right simthatha as u-positive, u-x o-positive, lenenye siphakamisa i-arm yakwa-left, u-left simthatha as u-negative, u-x uzoba negative. O-2 but lawa ama-graph ano-a o-positive, once yaba no-a o-negative izoba upside down, bamba nje lokho. So la ma-graphs engiwadrawile ngaphansi awu-2 ilawa ano-x, ilawa ano-a o-negative, ihamba kanjalo. Iyashifta-ke i-graph yethu, if i-shift along the x, leyo shift izohamba no-x niyakhumbula ngithi, and then i-shift along the y ihamba yodwa esayidini. So u-p is the shift along the x, uyabona ulapha phezulu bama-exponent bowu-2 beno-x, and then i-shift along the y ihamba yodwa eceleni laphana. Igrafu-ke ine-asymptotes because ma unothisa onke lama-graphs owu-4 awawathinti ama-x-axis, okusho ukuthi i-asymptote asimthinti. I-asymptote-ke lana ayikho e-vertical, kune-horizontal asymptote oku-q, kusho ukuthi y equals to q. U-q niyakhumbula simthatha njengoba enjalo, ihamba kanjalo. So ama-standard form-ke lawana ifike ya-shift along the x, ya-shift along the y, ya-shift along the x and along the y. Q is the asymptote njengoba bese ngishilo, so izothi y equals q. So uyayibona ukuthi lawa amagraph lawana ne-asymptote y equals to 0 because ayithinti ku-y equal to 0. Ukudrawa-ke igrafu kuzomela ube ne-equation yegraph njengoba bese sishilo basinikezile-ke y equal to 2 exponent x sithi y cut x equal to 0 so bano 2 exponent 0 2 exponent 0 is 1 so i-coordinate kuzoba bani 0 and 1 and then bese sifuna the x-intercept x-intercept y equal to 0 so gcina siba no 2 exponent x equal to 0 and leya nto akasolveki u-x. Remember if u-x eyi-exponent sizama ukumsolva kuzomele sithini sizama ukwenza ama-base efane and ama-base lapha angeke eze efane and therefore there's no solution. Not necessarily ukuthi ama-base ma ingakwazi ukufana there's no solution. Ikhona u-log angithi but soyibona leyo nto ma sesikuma-inverse kodwa kule no-log akasebenzi meaning there's no solution. Iyayenza kodwa isenze igraph ye-exponential engakashifti leya and igraph engakashifti ye-exponential ayimthinti u-x ama-x axes ayiwathinti. So leya information yonke iphelele ukuthi singakwazi ukudrawa ngayo igraph. Sesiyayenza-ke igraph so plot i-point lethu u-0 and 1 and then si-understand ukuthini ukuthi u-x wethu u-positive. Okokuqala si-understand ukuthi u-a u-positive meaning ayikho upside down. Okwesithu si-understand ukuthi u-x u-positive meaning sizophakamisa i-right arm because i-right arm yiyo le e-represent u-x o-positive angithi. So izokheva njengoba ubuka i-right arm yakho ikheve ngakhona. So kuzoba igraph ekanjeyana-ke njengoba uyibona. Sine-y-intercepts laphana ewu-0 and 1. But niyakhumbula ukuthi ngithe mina akukho enough ukuthi wena uthi leya graph leyana igraph ka2 exponent x because even igraph ka3 exponent x izoba kanjeya because nayo igraph ye-exponential esase ku-origin engakashift. So kuzomela uveze elinye ipoint elizoverify ukuthi leya graph is not just any exponential graph engakashift but igraph ka y equal to 2 exponent x kuphela. Okusho ukuthi ngamanye amazwi kuzomela uchoose i-x value uthathe leyo x value ifake ku-original equation uthole u-y usune-coordinate uyaliplotha nalo. So mina ngichoose u-x o1 ngamthatha u1 ngamfaka ku-original equation ngathola u-y wakhona kube u2. So i-coordinates lami ubani 1 and 2. Therefore leya graph akuse noma yiphi graph but igraph ka y equals 2 exponent x. Enye graph abasinikeza h of x equals 1 over 2 exponent x. Siyazi exponential graph leyana and ayikakashift futhi nayo isase ku-origin. So funa y cut x equals to 0 lapho kuno x khona sifaka u0 sithola i-y-intercept ewu1. So i-coordinate ubani 0 and 1. Bese sifuna i-x-intercept but siyazi ukuthi ayikho but asiyifune. X cut y equal to 0 lapho kuno y khona sifaka u0 sizama ukusolve u-x akasolveki no solution. Okusho ukuthi leya information esinayo iphelele ukuthi singakwazi ukudrawa igraph. But into eyingozi-ke lana ungasho ukuthi loya x loyana u-positive loya x loya u-negative njengoba yona ithi 1 over 2 exponent x hayi ukuthi sino x o-positive ngeke izibe njengale graph engiqeda ukuyidrawa la ngaphansi. Leya nto ethi 1 over 2 exponent x ma uzokhumbula ama-laws of exponents iyafana nobani no 2 exponent negative x. Remember 1 over 2 is 2 exponent negative 1. Negative 1 times x is negative x. So leya graph kahlahle h of x equal 2 exponent negative x and therefore u-x wethu njengoba negative kusho ukuthi sophakamisa i-left arm. Ma uphakamisa i-left arm izokheva ngayiphi indlela kusho ukuthi igraph kuzomela ikheve kanjalo-ke nayo. I hope niya-understand. Plot i-point lethu laphana ubani u-0 and 1 but akukho enough uplot u-0 and 1 ngoba no 3 exponent negative x bezoba kanjeya. So kuzomele sichoose u-x bese sithatha u-x simfaka original equation sithole u-y. Ngichoose u-x o-negative 1-ke mina. Uma ngichoose u-x o-negative 1 coordinates lami lizothini negative 1 and 2. Leya graph sekuyigraph-ke leya ka 1 over 2 exponent x. Okay, sine graph ka y equals 3 exponent x minus 2 minus 1. Siyayibona ukuthi le i-shiftile. Ifike ya-shifta along the x, ya-shifta along the y. Remember i-shifta along the x, sithatha yonke no x leyanto leyana, x minus 2 is equated to 0, solve x. Leyo nto yenza njalo kwi-graph. So thola u-x owu-2. Kahlahle ungavele u-transpose nje, but it's just looking at leyanto leyana, transpose u-2 uyoba positive. So yazi, i-shifted 2 units to the right. I-shift along the y sithatha njengoba injalo, kusho ukuthi i-shifte 1 units down. Leyana i-shift along the y u-negative 1 and leyanto leyana is the asymptote. So mabe ngathi shift how many units along the y-axis? 1 unit downwards. Mabethi write down the equation of the asymptote y equals -1. Okay, yazameni ukudraw igraph x cut y equal to 0. Now we are y, so equator 0. So no 3 exponent x minus 2 minus 1 equal to 0. Sizotranspose 1 leya exponential equation and kufana nokuthi njengoba kuke yama-base awu-2 leya base engezoyithatha siyise ngalo equal sign kube ubani 3 exponent x minus 2 equals 1. But into esishoda ngayo manje ukuthini ukuthi ama-base efana ngithi. La ama-base singakwazi ukwenza efana. Yes, singakwazi. U1 uyi-any number exponent 0. So even 3 exponent 0 is 1. And mina ngifuna ukuthi kuba ubase 3 zo2 leza zinto leza. So ngizoba no 3 exponent x minus 1 equals 3 exponent 0. 3 exponent 0 is 1. Once kwafana ama-base uyakhohlwa ama-base uqhubeke nama-exponents. Okusho ukuthi sino x minus 2 equals 0. Sesolve u-x. Sithola u-x equals 2 or positive. So as i-coordinates izothini 2 and 0. Sino x o2 sino y o0. Ihamba kanjalo-ke. The x-intercept of layer graph layer. Y-intercept x equal to 0. Lapho kuno x khona sofaka ubani? Sofaka u-0. So izothi y equals to 3 exponent 0 minus 2 minus 1. Siyavumelana lapho. And then is press calculator sithola ubani? -8 over 9. Therefore, as the coordinates kuzobani 0 and -8 over 9. Sesinayo yonke into esiyidingayo ukudrawa igraph yethu. Remember there's i-asymptote. I-asymptote y equals to -1. And ngithe mina mawuplotha kwi-hyperbola qala ngokuplotha i-asymptote. Nakuyo-ke i-exponential graph. If ikhona i-asymptote qala ngokuplotha yona i-asymptote and then uplotha ama-points usuyajoyina ngendlela efanele. So njengamanje ngine-asymptote y equals to -1 uyayibona lapha ngiyiplothile sengizoqala ke ngiplotha ama-points wami. Point lami ubani 2 and 0 no -8 over 9. Ungam-check i-calculator no -8 ukuthi u-0 -0, bani -8 over 9. Leyana kayihluphi akudingi nokuthi uze wazi ukuthi u-x u-positive ukuze wazi ukuthi izoma kanjani. Ama-points iwazokuguide ukuthi izokheva kanjani. But besides ukuthi uzoguide ama-points, u-x u-positive okusho ukuthi i-right hand arm izoma njenge-right hand arm. I-right arm noma i-right hand arm angazi but mawiphakamisile izokheva kanjalo nayo. So kuzoba igraph kanjeyana ke plot ama-points wakho usu-happy. Okay, nakhona kwi-exponential graph kuzomele siyazi i-domain, kuzomele siyazi i-range. I-domain yale graph lena uma uhamba along the x-axis uyabona iyaqhubeka yiyeke ukuqhubeka ama-arrow asho lokho kusho ukuthi uyayibona from -infinity uyibonela phezulu. Ungasho ukuthi iyaphezulu straight leyanda ayiphezulu straight ilokhu iyaslant okusho ukuthi even naku-infinity uyayibona. So uyibona kuwo wonke ama-values ka-x. X is an element of all real numbers. I-domain leyo yaleya graph exponential graph. I-range leya graph leya mahamba along the y awuyiboni uzofike ku-0. Ku-0 awuyiboni inhlobo. There's no way ukuthi ungayibona ku-0 because ku-0 is the asymptote, asymptote. Right above u-0 so uyaqala uyayibona. So because masifuna i-range sikhuluma ngo-y and siqala ukuyibona above u-0 and ingaphezulu ka-0 kusho ukuthi u-greater. Awukwazi ukuthi uthi greater or equals because mawuthi equals usho ukuthi naku-0 uyayibona and ku-0 asymptote ayimthinti. Nayi into ebalulekile-ke kuma-graphs-ke nje from manje ukuya phambili-ke wenze sure ukuthi uyafocus-a. Izinto ey'balulekile lezo kumele uzazi i-distance. Siyazi ukuthi kune-distance formula from analytical geometry. Distance formula ithi distance equals square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. I-distance formula leyo uyacalculate noma iyiphi distance if unama-coordinates awu-2. Njengokuthi ufuna i-distance AB kuzomele ube nama-coordinates waka-A nama-coordinates waka-B bese uthi x waka-A minus x waka-B or x waka-B minus x waka-A all squared plus kanjalo njengoba niyazi from analytical geometry. But kuma-functions akuyona i-case leyo. Awuvele uthathe i-distance formula uyisebenzise. I-distance formula izokumoshela isikhathi. Nayi example engizama ukunenzela yona ukuthi niyibone. Uyabona once i-distance yaba horizontal noma yaba vertical asikho isidingo se-distance formula. Asithi for example kuleya Cartesian plane yethu abasidrawele yona angithi uyayibona ukuthi bayilabelile angithi ama-values 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 -1 -2 -3 kanjalo. Asithi sino point A ku-3 u-x sino point B ku-3 ku-positive 4 bese besibona thola i-distance AB. Hayi ukuthi wena uzothatha i-coordinate lika B ne-coordinate lika A and then uyofaka kwi-distance formula. Angeke uze uthathe u4 and 0, angeke uze uthathe u-3 and 0. Uzovela uthini wena? I-distance from ukusuka kwi-origin uya ku-B ubani? Ngoba u-B u4 kusho ukuthi u4 units. I-distance okusuka kwi-origin uya ku-A ngoba u-A u-3 kusho ukuthi i-distance u3 units. 4 units plus 3 units is 7 units. Wenza kanjalo. Mawuthanda uzothini final minus initial okusho ukuthi njengoba bethi distance AB uzothatha ux wakwa B minus no x wakwa A uthola i-distance. Kusho ukuthi u4 minus -3 kugcina kuba u4 plus 3 kuba u7. Wenza kanjalo. I-distance leyo e-horizontal ayidinge distance formula. So thola u-AB o7 units. Nanoma ingaba along the y bethi mhlawumbe i-distance CD uzothini wena ukusuka ku-origin uya ku-D ubani uzobona u-y ka-D y ka D u3 kusho ukuthi kusuka ku-origin uya ku D u3 units. Ucheck y ka C u2 kusho ukuthi kusuka ku-origin uya ku C u2 units ngoba u-C uno y u-2. 3 units plus 2 units is 5 units uqedile. Noma-ke uthi ngoba bafuna i-distance ka CD uzothatha u-y ka D minus y ka C kusho ukuthi 3 minus -2 kuzogcina kuba u3 plus 2 kuba u5 units. Ihamba kanjalo. Okusho ukuthi if uzodinga i-distance yama-points along the x-axis noma a-horizontal uzofuna ama-x values walapho because into e-horizontal ime njengama-x-axis okusho ukuthi udinga o-x, into e-vertical ime njengama-y-axis okusho ukuthi uzodinga o-y. Angazi noma niyayithola leyo nto leyo. So basinikeza igrafu-ke laphana. Igrafu ine-equation ethi g of x equals -x squared plus 2x plus 3 and then badrawa i-line leyana bathi i-vertical. It's either bazothi i-vertical noma bethi i-parallel to the y-axis noma bethi i-perpendicular to the x-axis. Mabesho kanjalo bakutshela ukuthi if wena kuzomela uthole i-distance CD awudingi i-distance formula udinga nje u-y ka D no y ka C. Remember ime njengo-y kusho uzodinga bo-y. I-distance AB ngoba ime njenga u-AB leya line leyana ime njengo-x kusho uzodinga bo-x. Angazi noma niyayithola. Nayi into abayenzile-ke la asithi mhlambe bathe bona asithole i-distance AB. Mabethi thola i-distance AB sizodinga u-x ka A sidinga u-x ka B bese sithi x ka B minus x ka A. Ngamanye amazwi kule scenario kufana nokuthi basasithola ama-x-intercept we-parabola because ukuze sithole u-x ka A no-x ka B umbuzo uthini u-A uyini kuyiphi graph u-B uyini kuyiphi graph. U-A uyi-x-intercept kwi-parabola u-B uyi-x-intercept kwi-parabola. I-x-intercept ye-parabola itholwa kanjani? Y equal to 0. Y equal to 0 uyasolva bese uyathola ukuthi x-intercept u-1 no +3 okusho ukuthi kunobani u-x ka A ubani u-1 u-x ka B ubani +3 distance AB is bani 3 minus -1 kuba u4 units u-AB. Mabe ngathi thola i-distance CD for the fact ukuthi bona bathe u-CD is parallel to the y-axis basho ukuthi bona u-x ka C no x ka D bayafana. Remember onke ama-points along the y-axis ano-x ofanayo x wakhona u0. So nanoma iyiphi-ke iline eme njengama-y-axis ama-points akuleyo line ano-y ano-x ofanayo. So njengoba ikanjalo kusho ukuthi u-x ka C no-x ka D bayafana. U-x ka C u2 kusho ukuthi no-x ka D ubani u2 and u-D is on the graph of G. U-D nginayo u-x wakho kusho ukuthi ngingakwazi ukuthatha u-x ka D ngimsubstitute kuphi kwi-original equation ka G bese ngithola u-y ka D. Once ngaba no-y ka D nginayo u-y ka C. U-y ka C angithi uyambona u-C ukuma-x-axis and kuma-x-axis u-y u0. So nginayo u-y ka C nginayo u-y ka D. Ngoba u-CD ume njengo-y ngidinga u-y ka D vele no-y ka C. Kusho ukuthi ukuze ngithole i-equation kuzomele kusho ukuthi ukuze ngithole i-distance kuzomele ngithini y ka D minus y ka bani ka C. Ngizothola i-distance CD. Ihamba kanjalo. Sisase kuyo i-distance basinikeza igraph ka h of x okuyi-parabola basinikeza igraph ka g of x okuyi-straight line. Now mabe ngathi sithola i-distance AB kuyacaca ukuthi sofuna the x-intercept of i-parabola sithatha u-x ka B minus u-x ka A sithola i-distance AB. Mabe ngathi sithole i-distance AC. Now u-AC akamanga njengama x-axis, akamanga njengama y-axis. Okusho ukuthi iyasebenza ke distance formula la ukuthola i-distance ka-AC. AC equals square root of x2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1 all squared mawufuna i-distance ka-AC. Okusho ukuthi kuzomele ngibe nama-coordinates ka-A nama-coordinates ka-C. And ama-coordinates ka-A nama-coordinates ka-C, into engiyinothisayo, u-C ulapho khona okuhlangana khona igraph ka-H negraph ka-G. U-A ulapho kuhlangana khona igraph ka-H negraph ka-G. Lawo ma-points abizwa ngama-points of intersection. Okusho ukuthi u-A is the point of intersection, u-C is the point of intersection. Ukuze uthole-ke i-point of intersection kuzomele u-equate ama-graph. Ngoba ama-graph ayahlangana ku-point A naku-point C, kusho ukuthi ayalingana ku-point A naku-point C. Therefore, h of x equals g of x, uzokwazi ukuthi lapho usolve ubani u-x ka-A usolve u-x ka-C simultaneously. Hayi ukuthi uzosebenzisa i-simultaneous approach noma i-simultaneous equation, no. Ngisho ukuthi uzobathola kanye kanye. Uzothola u-x o-negative, uthola u-x o-positive. O-negative oka-A, o-positive oka-C. Bese uthatha labo x oqeda ubathola ubafake kunoma yiphi equation lapha uzothola bo y, because vele babelonga kunoma yiphi equation lapha. But umqondo omuhle ukuthi uthathe u-x oqeda kumthola umsubstitute ku-g, because u-g i-equation straightforward, ngeke ikumoshele isikhathi. I hope niyangi-understand kwi-point of intersection. And then mabe ngathi bona sithole i-distance DE, bese bekutshela ukuthi u-DE is parallel to the y-axis. Okusho ukuthi ngamanye amazwi asidingi distance formula ngoba parallel to the y-axis noma ume njengo-y kusho sizodinga abo-y. Sidinga u-y ka-E no-y ka-D. U-y ka-E, ukuze sithole u-y ka-E somthola kanjani? Sothatha u-x ka-E simsubstitute ku-original equation. Ukuze sibe no-y ka-D somthola kanjani? Sothatha u-x ka-D simsubstitute ku-original equation. And u-x ka-D no-x ka-E bayafana. But iqiniso ukuthi asinawo x ka-E, asinawo x ka-D. So kwenza kanjani-ke? Singamthatha yena lo x esingenayo. Uyabona i-coordinates ka-D lizothini? X and y. Anginawo x, anginawo y. Coordinates ka-E lizothini? X and y. But mangathatha yena lo x engingenaye ngimsubstitute ku-original equation ka-D oku-g of x, ngizotholani? Ngizothola u-x plus 1 vele, because ngithatha u-x ngamfaka lapho kuno-x khona, so izobuya ithi x plus 1. Okusho ukuthi u-y ka-D manje usezoba ubani? U-x plus 1. So i-coordinates lika-D lizothini? X is 2, x plus 1. Kuyafana nokuthi lithi x is 2y, because x plus 1 vele is y. I hope niya-understand leyo nto le. No-E anginayo i-coordinates lakhona, ngino x and y for u-E. But mangathatha yena lo x engingenayo ngimsubstitute ku-original equation ukuthi ngithole u-y, ngizomfaka, izobuya vele ithi x negative x squared plus 2x plus 3. Kuzobe ku-y wami-ke lo ka-E. So i-coordinates ka-E lizothini? X is 2 negative x squared plus 2x plus y leon plus 3. Leyo nto iyafana nokuthi ithi x is 2y ngoba vele u-negative x squared plus 2x plus 3 u-y vele. So ngale information esenginayo noma ngalama coordinates enginawo manje ka D no E ngakwazi ukusolva i-distance DE. Remember sitheni? Ukuze sithole i-distance DE sidinga u-y waku-E. U-y waku-E u-negative x squared plus 2x plus 3. Bese ngithi minus ngidinga u-y waku-D. U-y waku-D u-x plus 1. Ngizofaka ama-brackets-ke ngoba ngiyaminus ama-terms awu-2. So i-distance DE iwubani? Izoba u-negative x squared plus x plus 2 mase u-remove ama-brackets wa-add ama-like terms lapha. Leya distance is the distance DE in terms of x, because bengenayo x lapha. If benginayo x, bengizokwenza ngendlela ehlukile. Angazi noma niyayithola lento, but ku-very very important ukuthi understand lento engiqeda ukuyenza la. Very. Okay, besike sakhuluma ngokuthi igraph iyakwazi ukushifta along the x, iyakwazi ukushifta along the y. Leyo nto ibizwa nge-translation. So mabethi igraph is translated 2 units to the right, kusho ukuthi ishifte 2 units to the right. Kanjalo. So kubalekile ukuthi ukwazi ukubona i-translation from igraph noma mabekubuza ukuthi bekutshela mhlawumbe ukuthi igraph of h ile, bazo obtain igraph of G by translating mhlambe le graph le 2 units to the right, ukwazi ukubona ukuthi igraph entsha izoba ubani. Basineze igraph of H bathi i2 over x, i-hyperbola leyo. base bathi graph of G is obtained by shifting the graph of H 2 units to the left. Bathi bhala ke equation kabani ka G. Into ozoyenza ke wena uzoqala ngalo 2 units to the left wakhona. Uthi x equals to -2. Remember 2 units to the left beku x equals to -2 mase me explain angithi. Kusho uzothi kuye ke lo x equals to -2 bese mthathe from igraph angithi. Mbuyisele ke kwi graph meaning uyamtranspose back. Uzoshintsha isign eyoba positive. So izogcina isithini 2 over x plus 2 njengoba uyibona ithi 2 over x plus 2 ehamba kanjalo. But ithi sibone nge example khona sotholana basinikeza u-f of x u3 over x plus 1 bese bethi bona the graph of G is obtained by shifting the graph of f 3 units to the left. Yini wena ozoyenza uzobhala u-x equals to -3 because uyo 3 units to the left ma ukhumbula kahle. Bese umtranspose back to equation meaning uzoyoshintsha isign njengoba ku -3 uzobuye yothi +3 bese yo add u3 lapha kule equation ka f. Izophuma kanjalo ke equation ka G. Kusho ukuthi izothini x over x plus 1 plus 3 ku x plus 4. So izothi g of x equals 3 over x plus 4. I-equation kabani leyo ka G esi-obtainer by shifting igraph ka f 3 units to the left. Basinikeze igraph ka G of x u2 into x minus 2 all squared plus 3. Sebethi bona the graph of H is obtained by shifting the graph of G 1 unit to the left. Uzothini wena uno x minus x equal to -1 1 units to the left lo bese umtranspose back uyoba njani uyoba positive. So izogcina ithini lapha ku G kuma brackets x minus 2 plus 1 okuzokwenza ukuthi igcina ku x minus 1. So igraph of H izothini 2 into x minus 1 all squared plus 3. I hope niyayithola lapha shift along the x leyo. Sithi basinikeze enye equation laphana bathi equation y equals 2 exponent x bese bethi a new graph is obtained by shifting layer graph ka 2 exponent x 4 units up. Remember shift along the y uyithatha njengoba injalo. So njengoba ku 4 units up izovela ibuye isithini y equals to 2 exponent x plus 4 ihamba kanjalo. Enye basinikeza u-h of x equals open brackets x minus 2 all squared minus 3 bese bethi f of x is obtained by shifting the graph of h 1 unit up. So mabethe 1 unit up kusho ukuthi wena uzovele kuleya minus 3 uzo add 1 because eka up and down i-shift along the y uyithatha njengoba injalo. So njengoba ku minus 3 uzothini minus 3 plus 1 ngoba bathe 1 unit up ugcina ku -2. Izothi f of x equals x minus 2 all squared minus 2. Okay, enye graph ba sinikeza u g of x minus 1 over x plus 4 plus 3. Bathi u-h is obtained by shifting u-g of x 2 units to the right. U-2 units to the right u-x equal to 2 but mouse umtranspose uza back uzoba u-negative kuzogcina kuba x plus 4 minus 2 leyo nto yenze kuba u-x plus 2 bathi ke u-g is translated 2 units to the right and 4 units down. So laphana kuzogcina kuba u-1 over x plus 2 u-4 sizom-add lapha ngithi ku-3 kusho ukuthi kuzoba u-3 minus 4 kugcina kuba u-1. So h uzogcina ethi -1 over x plus 2 minus 1. I hope niyayithola leyo but if awuyithola ungaphosa ivideo ubuyisela emuva ulalelisise kahle. Basinikeza igraph ka g of x equals 4 over x minus 2 plus 1 basidrowela base bathi graph of h is obtained by shifting layer ama-y-axis 3 units to the right. So ma ushift ama-y-axis 3 units to the right kufana nokuthi ushift igraph 3 units to the left. Angazi noma niyayithola leyo nto. Abenza isayensi ke bengayicabanga njenge-relative motion ukuthi ma ushifta lo makumuva lo kufana nokuthi uyamuva lo relative to lo. But akunandaba-ke lokho bashifte ama-y-axis 3 units to the right. Ma ushifta ama-y-axis 3 units 1 units to the right kusho ukuthi asymptote e-vertical kuzoba 1. 2 units kuzoba u-0. 3 units -1. So izogcina ithini 4 over x plus 1 plus 1 izoba kanjalo. Basinikeze ngegrafu f of x equals 3 exponent x plus 2 plus 2 base bathi h of x ulingana no f of x plus 1 minus 4. Isho ukuthini ke le nto leya? Ungayibuka nje njengokuthi isho ukuthi ba replace ku f ukuze bethola u h ku f ba replace u x ngo x plus 1. Kusho ukuthi uzohamba yo replace u x plus 1 laphana ku f. Izogcina isithini ke emva kokunakho nje kokureplace u x ngo x plus 1 uzo minus u4 lo ya4 seceleni uzo minus lapha eceleni nawe kusho izogcina isithini 3 exponent x plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 minus 4. Leyo nto izogcina ithi ke h of x equals 3 exponent x plus 3 minus 2. Khona lama questions ikabuza ukuthi for which values of x is bani equals bani, but nje mabethi for which values of x mhlambe is f of x greater than 0 or less than 0, nawo abalekile ukuthi wazi kwaphendula, but use the graph to answer lawo ma questions lawo. Very important ukuthi wazi ukuthi njengoba i-equation ye-graph ithi y equals whatever and kwi-Cartesian plane kuno y okuwama y-axis, i-relationship inkulu kakhulu between i-graph y and ama-y-axis. Inkulu ngendlela yokuthi ama-y-axis lapho khona a-positive, meaning above ama-x-axis, ne-graph izoba positive because nayo i-graph itself iwu-y. U-y ngikhuluma ngama-y-axis, above ama-x-axis unjani? Upositive. Ngoba ne-graph iwu-y, kusho ukuthi ne-graph above ama-x-axis izoba positive. U-y, ama-y-axis, below ama-x-axis unjani? Unegative. Ngoba ne-graph itself iwu-y, kusho ukuthi nayo izoba negative. Remember, i-equation ye-graph is given by y equals whatever. So ne-graph iwu-y. Indlela okubehave ngayo ama-y-axis ne-graph izobehave njengama-y-axis because nayo i-graph itself iwu-y. So from now onwards kumele wazi ukuthi above ama-x-axis ngoba u-y upositive ne-graph ipositive, below ama-x-axis ngoba u-y unegative ne-graph inegative ngoba nayo i-graph vele iwu-y. Okusho ukuthi even when ama-y-axis e-increase noma ama-y values on ama-y-axis e-increase nama-y values on i-graph azo-increase. Asithathe nasi straight line basinikezile, asithathe i-point from y o negative 2 to y o 3. Lesi straight line from y o negative 2 no y o 3 uyabona ukuthi siya increase angithi, and abo y, the y-axis, ama-y values lapho from negative 2 to 3 aya increase, negative 1 0 1 2 3. Kusho ukuthi ziyahambisana lezi zinto i-graph no y, the y-axis. Uyibeke engqondweni leyo nto le, ibalekile ukuthi uyazi. Asithi basinikeze na i-graph of G leyana ino x o negative 2 no x o 2 ama-x intercepts lawo, bathi for which values of x is g of x greater than 0. Mawuthi greater than 0 usho ukuthi positive, so leyana ithi y is greater than 0. And uyayibona inequality sign ithi ayifane ne-equal sign although yona kuyi-inequality sign. So lapho khona thina sikwazi ukuthi sibe no y equals to 0 because mayithi y is greater than 0 mina ngithi icishe ifane nento ethi y equal to 0, and lapho khona thina esithi y equal to 0 ilapho khona esisuke sifuna khona ama-x intercepts. Okusho ukuthi ngamanye amazwi ukuze ukwazi ukuphendula le question lena kuzomela uthini? Uthole ama-x intercept we-graph and then uthrowe ama-vertical lines njengoba ubona ngiwadrawa kuma-x intercepts. Ama-intervals azoba divided ngaleyo ndlela. Okusho ukuthi njengoba ngithrowe i-vertical line ku-negative 2, ngadrawa i-vertical line ku-2, kwa-left ka-negative 2 i-interval leyo, meaning from negative infinity to negative 2 i-interval leyo. Between u-negative 2 no 2 i-interval leyo. Between u-2 to infinity i-interval leyo. Okusho ukuthi i-interval izohlukaniswa yini? Ama-x-axis. Ngoba leyanto ithini? Ikhuluma ngo-0. G of x is greater than 0. Kuyafana nokuthi g of x equal to 0. And masithi g of x equal to 0 sisuke sifuna ini? Ama-x intercepts. I hope siya-understandana lapho. So njengoba bethi for which values of x is g of x greater than 0, babuza ukuthi for which values of x is g of x positive, and thina sazi ukuthi g of x is positive above the x-axis because above the x-axis u-y u-positive and i-graph u-y. So sengizofaka ubo plus above ama-x-axis kwi-graph, minus below ama-x-axis kwi-graph. njengoba besi-explainile. So now sifuna kuphi-ke kodwa thina sifuna lapho khona igraph i-positive. So qala ma-interpret igraph uqala kwa-left uya kwa-right. So soqala kule interval ekwa-left. Awu-3 ama-intervals esinawo. Ile ngapha kwa-left kube between -2 and 2 kube engapha kwa-right. Kule interval engapha lapha engicyclishe khona ama-values wakhona mangakanani ku-2, meaning -4, -3, -5, -6, -7 bangakanani ku-2 bancane. So izothi x less than -2. Sesiyaqhubeka siya kwenye interval. Sifuna kodwa interval lapho khona kuno-positive. Kusho ukuthi le interval eno-negative asikho happy ngayo, siyayidlula siya ku-interval yes-3. Interval yes-3 ngiqeda ukuyicyclisha sibona khona lapho khona igraph i-positive. Sesizothini-ke le interval ile yabo 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sesizothini ama-values akule interval mangakanani ku-2 o-positive makhulu. X is greater than 2, greater than into enkulu. I-solution iyo-ke le. I hope niya-understand. If i-solution kule interval nale enye interval kuba no-or to differentiate ukuthi okay, noma to separate ama-intervals ukuthi okay kunale interval naleya interval enye. So ibone nge-example kodwa. Basinikeza i-straight line lana, basinikeza i-x-intercept e1. I-straight line sethu is the graph of h of x. Babuza lapho khona i-graph of h i-less. Kwenzeka i-mistake lapha. Uleso equal to 0 loya kahle kahle. Uyazi-ke makuno-0 fana nokuthi ithi h of x equal to 0 and lapho khona sithatha u-h isime-equator to 0 sisuke sifuna ini? X-intercept. So kusho ukuthi interval yethu izohlukaniswa yini? X-intercept. Draw i-vertical line ku-x-intercept. I-1-ke la i-x-intercept. So kusho ukuthi kunama-intervals awu-2. Ile ngapha ka-left ka-1, ile ngapha ka-right ka-1. Sengithini? Ngoba ikhuluma ngo-negative. Kusho ukuthi kuzomele ngifake ama-sign kwi-graph yami. Ngifake abo-positive, ngifake abo-negative. I-graph i-positive kuphi? Above ama-x-axis. Negative kuphi? Below ama-x-axis. So izothi positive, 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 negative, negative, negative. Bese ngithini-ke mina ngiyifuna kuphi konje? Ngiyifuna lapho khona i-negative. Okusho ukuthi le interval engapha kwa-left. Sengiyicyclishile i-interval yami. Ama-values angapha kule interval yami obani? -0, -1, -2, -3. Mangakanani lawo ma-values lawo ku-1 mancane. So izothi x is less than 1. But kuzomele uyifake equal sign because bam-includile u-1 kwi-question yabo. Bathe h of x is less or equal to 0. And igraph ilingana no-0 lapha ku-x-intercept ku-1. So izothi x is less or equal to 1. I-solution e-correct-ke leyo. Enye example, basinikeze i-parabola bathi is a graph of G, basinikeze i-x-intercept ewu-3. Bese ngeke isidingo sokuthi besinikeze leya enye x-intercept, siyabona ukuthi u-0. Now bathini g of x is less or equal to 0. Ngoba ile ka-0 sihlukanisa i-interval yethu kuma-x-intercept. So sizodraw iline ku-x-intercept leyana ewu-0, sidraw iline ku-x-intercept leya ewu-3. Bese sifaka ama-sign kwi-graph yethu ngoba thina sifuna lapho khona igraph i-negative khona noma ilingana no-0. Ilingana no-0 ku-0 naku-3. Sifuna lapha e-negative khona noma ilingana no-0. Negative ku-below ama-x-axis manizokhumbula kahle. So sofaka ama-sign above ama-x-axis igraph i-positive, below ama-x-axis igraph i-negative. Now i-solution uyabona ukuthi ikwi-interval leya ephakathi nendawo and i-interval yethu is between two values. Sengisho is between u-0 no-3. If ikanjalo interval akubi no-or uyibhala njengoba ngiyibhala ama-inequality sign kuhlezi kuhama-sign abhekele kwa-left njengoba ubona kuba u-x phakathi nendawo kube inequality sign ebheke kwa-left, inequality sign ebheke kwa-left ngapha ka-x nangapha ka-x. Ufaka inamba engapha u-0, ufaka inamba engapha u-3. Uhlezi uqala ngencane uza ngenkulu. Ama-inequality sign ahlezi eface kwa-left. Ungakhohlwa ama-equal sign because i-included angithi i-solution laphana. Ihamba kanjalo. So i-answer is between 0 and 3.